July 2002. The streets of Brooklyn, New York, buzzed with summer energy. Children's laughter filled the air, mingling with the distant hum of cars and the faint melody of a radio playing an old classic. To an outsider, it was a perfect summer day, a snapshot of urban life at its best. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath this vibrant surface, darkness was lurking, unseen but ready to strike. At the center of this story was a family, bound by blood, tested by trials. They had weathered storms together, offering each other strength when the world seemed to crumble. But that summer their strength would be put to the ultimate test. Unseen tensions, simmering for years, would explode in ways no one could have imagined. Within days their lives would change forever, leaving two women dead and an entire community in shock. This isn't just a story of crime. It's a story of betrayal, greed, and a 16-year quest for justice. It's a tale of trust misplaced, anger unchecked, and lives forever altered. This is the story of Andre Neverson, a man whose choices left devastation in their wake and whose actions would haunt those who knew him for years to come. Prepare yourselves for a journey into the unsettling case of Andre Neverson, a tale that will leave you questioning how well you truly know the people closest to you. How do we miss the warning signs when someone close to us harbors a dark side? Could you recognize the red flags in someone you love? Share your thoughts below. Andre Neverson grew up in Trinidad, a country known for its vibrant culture and close-knit communities. Andre was no different, a young man with big dreams and a sharp mind. His family believed in him, hoped he would achieve something great, and Andre, with his charm and ambition, seemed destined to fulfill those expectations. But there was another side to Andre, a side his family didn't see, or perhaps didn't want to see. Beneath the charisma and ambition was a temper that would turn deadly. That darkness came to light in 1992 when a heated argument with his ex-girlfriend's uncle escalated into violence. In a fit of uncontrollable rage, Andre pulled out a gun and shot the man 5 times. Convicted of attempted murder, Andre was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But prison didn't reform him. If anything, it seemed to harden him. His violent tendencies, once hidden beneath his charm, began to grow, fueling a desire for control, power, and revenge. After serving his sentence, Andre was deported back to Trinidad. For most, this would have been the end of the road. But not for Andre. He wasn't ready to give up on life in America. Using a forged Jamaican passport, he found his way back into the United States. And waiting to welcome him with open arms was his sister, Patricia Neverson. Patricia was a woman of immense kindness and loyalty. To her, Andre was her younger brother, someone she believed in despite his mistakes. She offered him a second chance, providing him with shelter and support. But she couldn't have known that her loyalty would come at an unimaginable cost. Do you think people can truly change after serving time for violent crimes? If you were in Patricia's shoes, would you have given Andre a second chance? Let us know in the comments below. Patricia Neverson was more than just Andre's older sister. She was his protector, his guide, and his greatest supporter. A hard-working, generous woman, Patricia had built a stable life for herself in Brooklyn. She prided herself on creating a home that was warm and welcoming, not just for her family but for anyone in need. She was a woman of immense kindness, always willing to sacrifice for those she loved. Patricia believed in second chances, in forgiveness, and in the hope that people could change. When Andre returned to the U.S. despite the risks, she welcomed him with open arms. To her, he wasn't a criminal or a fugitive. He was her brother, someone she believed deserved redemption. But as time went on, the dynamics between the siblings began to shift. Andre wasn't just looking for a place to stay, he was looking for control. Patricia, always the caretaker, found herself in a precarious position as Andre's demands began to grow. Their relationship took a turn when Patricia agreed to help Andre with a $20,000 settlement he had received from a car accident. With that money, Patricia purchased a house, planning to repay him over time. But Andre believed the house should belong to him entirely, a belief that became the root of their growing conflict. What started as a simple misunderstanding quickly escalated into a bitter dispute. Patricia, tied to the property through legal documents, knew she had the law on her side. But Andre didn't see it that way. To him, the house symbolized something far greater than property. It was control, respect, and power. Despite her efforts to resolve the dispute amicably, Patricia couldn't calm the storm brewing within her brother. The arguments became more frequent, more heated, and more personal. Patricia's once peaceful home began to feel like a battlefield. Even as the arguments escalated, Patricia refused to give up on her brother. To her, family meant everything. But what she didn't know was that Andre's resentment was growing into something far more dangerous. Something she couldn't have prepared for. Patricia's loyalty to Andre would soon cost her everything. Her trust, her kindness, and her unwavering support would lead to devastating consequences that no one could have foreseen. How far would you go to help a sibling in need, even if it put you at risk? Would you stand by them no matter what, or draw the line when trust is broken? Let us know in the comments. July 8, 2002, started like any other summer day for Patricia Neverson. She ran errands, cooked a meal, and welcomed the usual hustle and bustle of life in Brooklyn. To those who knew her, she seemed her usual self, warm, steady, and kind. But what no one could see was the storm brewing just inside her apartment. By that evening, the ongoing tension between Patricia and Andre reached its breaking point. Witnesses later reported hearing raised voices coming from the apartment, an argument that quickly turned hostile. Neighbors described it as unusually loud and heated, filled with anger that had clearly been building for some time. Patricia, ever the peacemaker, tried to reason with her brother, but Andre wasn't listening. The financial dispute over the house had consumed him, and in his mind, Patricia had betrayed him. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about control, respect, and years of unresolved resentment. Fueled by rage, Andre's anger turned deadly. He shot Patricia twice, once in the back of the head and once in the abdomen. The woman who had stood by him through his darkest moments was now lifeless on the floor of her own home. Patricia's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a betrayal of the highest order. The brother she had trusted, protected, and supported had taken her life in cold blood. But as devastating as her murder was, it wasn't the end of Andre Neverson's rampage. That very day, he set his sights on another victim. Andre wasn't done. With his sister's blood still on his hands, he drove to find his estranged girlfriend, Donna Davis, a woman he had once loved but whose relationship with him had become strained. What happened next would leave the community in shock and set off one of the most intense manhunts in recent history. Do you think the financial argument was the real reason, or was this the result of years of pent-up anger and control issues? Could anything have been done to stop this tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Donna Davis was a woman who radiated warmth and positivity. As a dedicated teacher, she inspired her students to dream big, always leading by example with her compassion and unwavering kindness. Her friends described her as the kind of person who lit up every room she walked into, someone who could turn even the darkest day into one filled with laughter and hope. But behind her radiant exterior was a woman carrying the weight of a toxic relationship. Donna's relationship with Andre Neverson had started like many others, charming, exciting, and full of promise. But over time, cracks began to show. Andre's controlling tendencies, his unpredictable temper, and his unwillingness to let her go left Donna feeling trapped. She tried to distance herself, but Andre wasn't the kind of man to accept rejection lightly. July 8, 2002. Just hours after killing his sister, Andre drove to Donna's school. Witnesses later reported seeing her leave the building and approach his car. She appeared hesitant but ultimately got into the passenger seat. To this day, no one knows exactly what Andre said to convince her. Perhaps it was his charm, his promises to change, or her hope that he might finally let her go. Whatever the reason, it would be the last decision Donna ever made. 2 days later, Donna's lifeless body was found in a vacant lot in Brooklyn. Like Patricia, she had been shot execution style, one bullet to the back of the head. Her life, full of promise and purpose, was cut short by the man she once trusted. Two women, bound by their connection to Andre Neverson, were now forever connected by their tragic deaths. Donna's murder wasn't just a loss for her family and friends, it was a loss for her students, her community, and the countless lives she had touched. Andre Neverson's actions left an indelible scar, one that would haunt those who knew and loved Donna for years to come. Why do you think Donna got into Andre's car? Was it fear, hope, or something else entirely? And could anything have been done to save her? Share your thoughts in the comments below. After committing 2 brutal murders in cold blood, Andre Neverson vanished. He left behind a trail of devastation and questions, but no answers. With the community reeling and investigators scrambling for leads, Andre seemed to disappear into thin air. Authorities knew they were dealing with a dangerous man. Andre wasn't just violent, he was cunning. Over the years, he demonstrated an uncanny ability to stay one step ahead of the law. Every lead seemed promising at first but ultimately ended in frustration. Year after year, the trail went cold, leaving investigators and families without closure. Andre was a master manipulator, skilled at blending in and disappearing before authorities could close in. He used multiple aliases, forged documents, and frequently changed his appearance. Investigators suspected he was moving between states, and possibly countries. But every time they got close, he was gone. We'd get tips from people who swore they saw him, at a gas station, on a train, even at a party. But by the time we got there, he was nowhere to be found. He knew how to disappear and he was good at it. For 16 years, Andre evaded capture. To some, it seemed like pure skill, an ability to read the situation and stay ahead. To others, it was luck, the kind that eventually runs out. And in 2018, that's exactly what happened. A reckless driving charge would prove to be Andre's undoing. Pulled over in Connecticut for speeding, He handed the officer a fake ID. But something didn't add up. As protocol dictated, his fingerprints were run through the system, and what they revealed shocked the authorities. 16 years after the murders of Patricia Neverson and Donna Davis, the man who had eluded capture for so long was finally in custody. His reign of manipulation and violence had come to an end, but for the families of his victims, the scars remained. The end of Andre's time on the run wasn't just a victory for law enforcement. It was a moment of bittersweet closure for the families who had spent nearly 2 decades yearning for justice. Do you think Andre's ability to evade capture for 16 years was due to skill, luck, or failures in the system? What do you think finally brought him down? His mistakes or the determination of law enforcement? Share your thoughts in the comments below. After 16 years of evading justice, Andre Neverson finally faced the consequences of his actions. In 2021, he stood trial for the murders of Patricia Neverson and Donna Davis. The courtroom was packed with reporters, family members, and onlookers, all eager to see if the justice system could deliver closure to the families of his victims. The prosecution laid out an airtight case. The evidence was overwhelming. Ballistics linked the weapon to both murders, eyewitness accounts placed Andre at the scenes, and his long history of violence painted a chilling picture of a man capable of unimaginable cruelty. There was no room for doubt. The jury deliberated, and when they returned, their verdict was clear. Andre Neverson was guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder. In 2022, he was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison, ensuring he would spend the rest of his days behind bars. For the families of Patricia and Donna, the moment was bittersweet. Justice had finally been served, but the wounds left by Andre's actions were too deep to ever fully heal. No sentence, no matter how severe, could bring back the 2 vibrant lives he had stolen. She was my rock. Patricia was always there for me, for everyone. And Donna, she was like a second mom to those kids at her school. They didn't deserve this. None of us did. While Andre's sentence brought a sense of closure, it also left lingering questions about how he had managed to evade justice for so long. For the families, it was a bittersweet reminder of the system's flaws, and their resilience in the face of unspeakable tragedy. Do you believe justice was served, or does the 16-year delay feel like a failure of the system? Could this tragedy have been prevented if Andre had been caught sooner? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This story isn't just about Andre Neverson. It's about Patricia Neverson and Donna Davis. 2 women who were vibrant, loving, and full of promise. 2 women who trusted someone they thought they knew, only to have their lives tragically stolen. Their loss isn't just a crime. It's a cautionary tale for all of us. Patricia was the glue that held her family together, a woman who dedicated her life to helping those she loved. Donna was a beacon of hope for her students, a teacher whose impact extended far beyond the classroom. Both women left behind legacies of kindness, compassion, and resilience, qualities that should never be forgotten. But their stories also serve as a stark reminder of the importance of recognizing red flags, of protecting ourselves and our loved ones, and of standing firm when faced with toxic or dangerous relationships. We may never fully understand why Andre did what he did, but we can honor Patricia and Donna by learning from their story. What lessons can we take from this tragedy? How do we recognize the signs of manipulation or control before it's too late? And what can we do to ensure the people we care about are safe? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters in these conversations. If you found this story impactful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us continue sharing true crime stories that matter. Stories that honor the victims and remind us all of the value of human life.